Right, today we're going to be adding and subtracting using a formal written method. To be successful, you're going to be able to pull the calculation from a bar model, or deduce a calculation from a bar model. You're going to use your knowledge of rounding to estimate the answer, and then you're going to understand how to use column method to add and subtract. So here is my first bar model. I have a whole, which is a question mark, obviously the part I'm trying to find, and I'm going to have two parts. 14,684 is one part and 25,316 is another part. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is to pull out the calculation from this bar model. So I'm obviously trying to find the whole thing. Now if I take this bar, the 14,000 bar, and I add on this bar, the 25,000 bar, that's going to give me the whole thing. So in this calculation, I'm going to be adding 14,684, adding 25,316. There is my calculation. I pulled it out of the bar model. Next thing I need to do is estimate my answer. Because when I have solved it, if it's not near my estimation, then I must be wrong. So estimating my answer, I'm going to be rounding both of these numbers to a very easy number that I can do in my head. If I have to use a written method to solve my estimate, then what's the point? I might as well just answer the whole thing, the original calculation. So I'm going to round it to very easy numbers I can do very quickly in my head. Now I notice that the 10,000s column is the highest column, so I'm going to be rounding it to the nearest 10,000, both of them to the nearest 10,000. So let's have a look at this first one. So rounding this number to the nearest 10,000, I'm going to be looking at the 4, the column behind, to determine whether my 10,000 column rounds forward or back. Now, the 4 is below 5, so it means that it would round back to the nearest multiple of 10,000. So it stays as it is, so 10,000. And on this one, if I look back, I have a 5. So this is going to round it forward to the next multiple of 10,000, which will be 30,000. So my answer should be 10,000 add 30,000, nice and easy. I can do that in my head. 40,000. My answer should be near 40,000. So the last thing I'm going to do is now use my written method. So I'm going to put a digit in each box. I'm going to make sure then that my columns are lined up. So my second one, a little trick I like to do is to write it backwards to make sure my ones column is lined up. Obviously once I've written it, it then becomes the same number. I'm not writing the actual number backwards. I'm just starting in the ones column. So I'm going to be drawing with a ruler, if you can, your line underneath to separate the calculation from the answer. So now I look at 4 add 6, starting with the ones column. 4 add 6, I know it's 10. So I put the 0, I'm going to carry that 10 across. 8 add 1 is 9. Add this 1 I carried makes 10. I'm going to carry it across again. 6 add 3 is 9. Add the 1 is 10. So I'm going to carry again. 4 add 5 is 9. Add the 1 is 10. I'm going to carry again. And 1 add 2 is 3, add that 1 is 4. So my answer is actually exactly the same as my estimate. So I know I must be correct. It won't always be exactly the same, that was a little bit fluky. But I know I must be correct as they are near or they're exact. Let's have a look at another one. So in this one, I know what the whole bar is. It's 68,423. And this time I'm trying to work out or calculate one of the parts. So let's deduce the calculation. So if I now start with what I know the whole thing, 68,423. And if I then took away the bar I know down here, this part, it's going to leave me with what's left. So my calculation in this one is going to be a subtraction. So first thing I need to do is estimate. So again, 10,000 is the highest column I'm looking at. So I'm going to look at the one behind, the 8. The 8 will make my 6 round forward to the next multiple of 10,000, which will be 70,000. And if I look at my second number, the 9 is going to make my 10,000 column round forward also to 30,000. So my answer should be 70,000, subtract 30,000, should be 40,000 again. Or near to 40,000 again. Maybe we won't get exactly the same this time. So the last part, I'm now going to use my written method. So, in addition, back here, it didn't matter which one I put on top, because in addition, it can be either way around. Subtraction is slightly different. I have to start with a bigger number, because if I don't start with a bigger number, I'm going to get a negative number, and my estimate tells me that this shouldn't be a negative number. So I'm going to make sure that my bigger number is the one that I am starting with, it is on top. Make sure my columns are lined up. There we go. My little trick of writing it in reverse order to make sure my columns are lined up. Be very careful not to put your estimate into your written method. You don't want to be doing that. You want to put your original calculation into your written method. So now I have, starting from the ones column, 3 subtract 8. Well, I can't do 3 subtract 8. It would be negative 5, so it doesn't work. So in order to make it work now, I need to exchange from the tens column. So I'm going to take a 10, so that will just become 1. And I'm going to carry it over to my ones column. So now I've got 13 subtract 8, which is 5. Now over here, I have 1 take away 4. Again, it doesn't work, that would be negative 3, and that doesn't work within a written method. So I'm going to exchange again. So I'm going to take 1 from the hundreds column this time. So 11 take away 4, I know 7. 3 subtract 0 is nice and easy, that's 3. 8 subtract 9 doesn't work in this case, it would be minus 1. So I need to again exchange from the column in front of it to make 18 take away 9, which will be 9, and then 5 take away 2 is 3. Is that near my estimate, 39,375? Yeah, it is very close. So I know I must be correct. Your task today then. Your instructions are here. I know it might not be possible to stick in your bar model, but if you can, then great. But you're going to deduce the question, or pull out the question from the information you have, just like I did in my examples. You're then going to estimate the answer, rounding each to the highest degree of accuracy to make it easy for you. Then you're going to use column method to answer the question. Your task 1, you have 6 calculations to do here. Task 2, you have another 4. This time can be done in various different ways. You could, for example, question 1 and task 2, I could add all 3 together in one column method. In the second question here, the 98,875 question, I might have to add my 2 parts together to make one big part, and then I can do the subtraction, the 98,000, take away the bit I know. Okay, so task 2 is really going to get you thinking. And then task 3, you're finding the sum of and the difference. So sum of is a fancy word for them added together, and the difference is a fancy word for them subtracted. All answers are at the bottom as per usual.